So, um, hello again. I'm actually going to post this tonight, hopefully. I have a few things to get to, and I didn't finish them all before going to um, this shift. And I thought of a few more things to add to CSA, and I just want to talk about it. And also, I think it's important to speak up and have a voice. Um, there's a lot that's happening, and I I want to be very successful in this life, despite what I come from. And it's just not fair, a lot of the things that are happening right now, and just in general. But in these videos, I can't wait to talk to some of you more. Those of you who are the match, I guess. Um, but I had a few more things I wanted to add, so let's go ahead and get to it. I thought of three other ways that childhood sexual abuse had impacted me, and I'll just say it. So let me start with the one that's kind of really on my heart because I really am kind of excited, and how with this healing process there's been something happening that it's almost like there's an awareness that's grown for me for seeing this potential that I had and looking at some of the things that I had an affinity for growing up. So I kind of prefer not to keep talking about this, but at the same time, I've been in support groups on and off for 8 years in order to be able to access the fact that the impact of growing up in Georgia regionally, you know, be able to access my Nigerian girlness, my African Americanness, in theory and in practice. And that's why someone like me kind of F's up this whole term. When you think of the term, it's not someone like me you think about. But lineage wise, the term actually fits someone like me. So it's very interesting because this actually goes into questioning, where does that begin? Where does that end? This idea of African American. And it's a good question because I know when somebody called me this and I just kind of got angry inside because I thought, oh, you don't even know that I'm African too. You're just erasing me. And this this is really what I felt. I just felt so like you just think we're all the same. And I just felt like that. But basically, let's get to it. I like learning, and my father, in addition to touching me inappropriately, he was a science teacher and helped me whenever I needed help with my physics honors class, my biology honors class, my chemistry honors class. You know, we would be around the AU Center from time to time, or Georgia State. He went to Fort Valley State University. You know, I like science. I did medical terminology spelling bees, me and my siblings, when we were growing up. And this harm kind of closed me off to my femininity, which closed me off to my intellect in this realm, if that makes sense. It kind of harmed me to the point that to touch science would be to harm myself. Psychologically, I'm sure it would make sense if you're thinking about it in just a basic way. So it's very scary that I would have um, this kind of interest relative to the harm I've experienced, relative to the harm and the good. It's actually a lot of cognitive dissonance that is quite, it's not something that you should have to integrate, but it's something that I have to integrate because it's just the truth of my experience, this duality. And I say science, but I like so many other things in terms of things I never considered before, intellectually leaning things. And there is the history of, I have a grandparent that didn't finish high school. They dropped out due to, I know I already said this, there was a very sad reason. And many Black people in the United States have sad reasons for not finishing high school, being able to go to high school, finish elementary school, middle school, not finish college. Tuition's expensive, especially if you want to go to a really good school. So I'm just saying that this is the magical thing that I don't know what's happening, but I see myself doing for Act 2, God willing, things that I couldn't even envision for myself when I was 17. But I got to college with 18 credits from AP classes, and I like math. I did music theory, AP music theory. I didn't do like AP calculus or AP physics. I guess I wasn't good enough for that. But even now, I think maybe somewhere I am good enough for classes at this level, But that's what's happening. Beginning to integrate the truth of what my story has been, and that there has been an advantage also to having a father that had proclivities in this arena and wanted to be a scientist. It's just sad that I had to be the experiment, which we'll get into that, right? Because the meta reality is that to experiment on a Black girl or woman by a Black boy or man, and there's generational trauma within that too. So we're going to get into that, but that's number one. The second thing is that I started to self-harm. So one of the things I do is I pull hair, and it's one of my really bad habits, but I started about the age of 12, and I think it was maybe started once I got into an environment that was where I was like really a minority. And look, that term is not good because we are not minorities. If we're Black people, we are not minorities. We're actually the global majority. So I shouldn't use that term. But what I'm saying is that when I was like the only one in my grade, when I transferred to Pace Academy when I was 12, and I'm only on age 10 in my blogging now, so maybe I'll do a post about age 10. That would be great. And this is actually when this happened at age 10, so it's actually perfect timing to talk about it. So basically, pulling hair, it's called trichotillomania, and I have to work on not pulling hair, and I pull hair all over my body, and I'll just leave it at that because it's something actually I'd like to actually explore more in counseling. But I want to say it because it is something that I do, and it's something that I want to work on improving. And something that helped me a little bit at least is like a fidget block or something that helps my hands to have some activity. And, there's more I could say, but I'll just say that's number 2. Let's see how long this records for. And I'm starting to get tired now, so I'm so sorry. So the last thing is that men really scare me. I'm really frightened of you all. At my age, people are like dating, married, and I'm just trying to heal and get to where I want to get to in life, being such very late to it. Maleness, yes, I'm attracted to maleness, but I'm also just want myself to reach my highest heights and be able to articulate what this experience has been and is. I'm frightened by it. I'm frightened by, the full grownness, the largeness. It just scares me. Okay, and that's all I want to say. And join me. I can't wait to share more with you. And yeah, all right, thank you. Have a good night.